Hi, ladies. Welcome back to Sisterland Investors. For those that are new, my name is Elizabeth. I want to answer a question that we got on Instagram. If you don't follow us, make sure you go to Sisterland Investors on Instagram. We're there, and we respond to the questions that you send us through there. The question for this lady was, how do you balance being a mom and running your business? And I want to respond to you here, because I'm sure you're not the only one. I mean, I have that question myself. How do I do it? Everyone's going to tell you their own little tips and tricks. And for us, well, I can speak for myself. I'll let Cindy explain on her side. But for us, it's worked for me. I used to think that I had to come home and shut work. Like when I worked for corporate America, that's what I would do. I would work, and then when I was out, it was all about my daughter. Make sure I go and play with her, do her thing. But running my own business, it is different because I don't shut it off. It's constantly 24/7, not literally 24/7, but it's ongoing all the time. So for me to answer this question, think of it as a dance, because for me, it's a perspective. It's all about perspective. It's the way you tell yourself that you're running the business. So you want to make sure that your inner dialogue is not complaining and whining that you have to do this, because then you send a negative signal to yourself and you're miserable and you're unhappy, and then you're not present for your daughter or son or for your family, and then you're not present in your jobs. This is tip number one. Try to see it as a blessing, because it is a blessing that you're working for yourself, you're working, and you're putting your own schedule, you're putting your own time. And I'll give you a few examples later on, but if you see it as a little dance, and dance because I love to dance because you have to take 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, maybe pivot side to side, maybe make a complete 360 turn. When you're with your kids, it's like you're with your kids, you want to be present, but you get that important call. Take it, and do not feel guilty on taking it. Answer the call. And the other advice I could give every single mom is do it in front of your kids. A lot of times you want to step out and not let your kids hear you. It's important for the kids to be part of your negotiation, your calls, seeing you on Zoom calls, seeing you talking to investors. It's huge. Why? Because they're learning by default. What I mean by that, they subconsciously are picking up on how you're doing it. Not so much what we're saying, but how you're saying it and how you respond to these callers. Let me give you an example. Growing up, my mom, being a business lady, would bring she never wanted an office. That's number one. Let me just set this out. She never wanted to rent a space or buy a space. She wanted her business at home. Why? Because she wanted to be there for us. Her and Dad decided, okay, we're not going to rent an office. We're not going to spend 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or 9 to 7 at an office just with our customers. We want our kids to be there. We want our kids to be present. And they didn't say it out loud. It was a subconscious thing that my mom said later. They just needed to be with us. In case of an emergency, they wanted to stop what they were doing, go to the school, pick us up. But let me tell you, ladies, my parents would allow the clients to come home. And my mom's office was the kitchen. I know we're Latinas. They would come into the kitchen. If my mom was cooking or preparing dinner, she would offer it to the clients. And this is huge. Let me tell you why. We're trying to get into being very formal, and it doesn't have to be formal. Like here I am in my car going to pick up my son from school, and I'm doing this quick little podcast and answering this call here on the go. My mom would do that. She was preparing dinner, and she would tell her clients, come into my kitchen. Would you like something to drink? I have this for dinner. Would you care for some? And us, my sister and I, as little girls, we would see this. And we thought it was normal. We thought, okay, every business is run like that. For us, it was very normal. The kids, the clients' children would go out and play with us. And it wasn't like a 20-minute, I have to sit with you for 20 minutes because I have another client. Yes, clients would overlap and she would just include them all like a family. And my parents did very well. They did extremely well. They did great. I'm not complaining. We had our nice vacations. We had our nice little rental homes. As students in college, we didn't have to live with anyone. We would decide who would live with us. We had our own little apartments, our own little cars. And we just thought that was normal. So to make a long story short, answer your calls, do your business in front of your kids because subconsciously they're picking up. Another great lesson that we learned from them, the way they spoke, and this is the main reason I say answer your calls in front of your kids. My mother was always courteous, very respectful, very loving, very caring to every single one from her clients. Like someone would call and say, I'm going to refer you. He is a VIP of this company. I'm sending him to you. And my mom's like, great, treat him with respect. And then she would get clients that were janitors. And again, she would treat them with respect. She treated everyone like a CEO of a huge corporation, global corporation. And that's the thing that I picked up. No one was treated differently because to her, I remember her telling us, you always treat everyone nicely and with respect because they are paying your car that you're driving. They're paying the rent in the condo that you're staying. They're paying for your light bill. They're paying for your vacation. She made it very clear. And so we were like, that was very sweet of them for paying. But I didn't know. Now I know as a business person. But she would tell us, like, it doesn't matter if he's a janitor. It doesn't matter if he's the director or VIP. They are equally paying for your vacations, your car, your home. So you have to be very clear with your kids. When you get off the call, say, thank you for being very courteous and listening, because they're the ones paying for your, again, saying the same thing. I'm becoming mom. Ladies, be the person you want your kids to be. Bottom line. If you want your kids to learn something from that call, be it on that call, because your kids will turn around and be that person. We're an embodiment of her. So I encourage every single mom that's a business, not even an investor. This could be for any business. And if you're listening to this, take the calls, do the negotiations. I know sometimes it could be boring and long, especially if it's an important call. Take it in front of your kids. Let them listen, let them hear, and then make it an educational. What better way to educate your kid than being the teacher? That's your school setting. You don't have to pay MIT or UT Business School. When you are the school system, you are the teacher by default. You're teaching them by default, by osmosis. This is huge, ladies. If you get that, you'll go a long way. So, keeping that in mind, that you're teaching by example and they're picking up on it, who do you want your kid to be? Who do you want your kid to surround themselves with? So you're going to be very cautious of how you behave, how you treat people, because you want them to be good people. Ultimately, we want them to be happy. Ultimately, we want them to win. And in order to win, the client has to win. If the client is happy, you're happy, and your kids are happy by default. So it's a beautiful setup subconsciously that nature has created, God, universe, whatever you believe in, that's created because it's a win-win for everyone. So don't try to, okay, I have to be extremely present with my kid now. Yes, I do encourage that. We do have to be present. We have to. But if you have an important meeting, an important call, and your kids are at home and it's 6 p.m., instead of having dinner, you take this call, include them. Another thing that I'll give you another example. I'm walking to a baseball game with my son. I get the call because I do want to buy from this seller. And we're speaking the whole way that I'm walking. My son's with me. My son's listening to me. And then when we get to the baseball game, there's a lot of noise. A lot of kids are like screaming and congratulating. And the moms are cheering. And so he tells me, he's like, Elizabeth, it sounds like you're busy. You're in a park with your kids. And I'm honest. I'm like, I'm heading to a baseball game with my kid. I just got to the park. Please excuse the background noise. I'm happy to sit and talk to you as long as you need me to. He's like, Elizabeth, no. Take the time, enjoy your kids' baseball game. I remember my kids, and he went off and told me about his kids when they played baseball, and now his grandkids. He goes, no, enjoy it because it's going to go super quick. Call me back tomorrow. We'll finish discussing, and good for you. Like, honestly, I honestly feel when I'm very human and let them know I'm a mom and I'm at a baseball game, when I say that, they love that. They know that you're not a business person, that you're like a robot. They love knowing that you're present for your kids, and they like to hear it, moms. So don't be scared to say what you're doing with your children. Don't be scared to get on Zoom calls and the kids playing soccer in the background. 99% of other human beings are nice people. They're human too. They understand, they get it. It's that 1% that ruins it for everyone and sets a different standard. But 99% of the people that I've spoken with and that I see my folks speak with, they are human. They get it. They understand now more than ever that we are doing business on the phone, on the internet, and at the same time driving around, going around to our kids' activities. So I honestly think it's a beautiful thing. I don't think it's a discouragement for moms that want to start their business. If you're new at starting it and trying to balance it, I think it's a huge plus. And I think it's the best time ever to do it. Moms, we have so much to our advantage nowadays. Like, do you know how fortunate we are that we're able to do this? Like maybe 50 years ago, parents didn't have this. My mom, I remember, would give us a beeper, and she would say, it's an emergency only. You call me, you put this code 911 on the beeper, and I'll stop whatever I'm doing and I'll come home. Before my parents, my grandmother didn't have this luxury of calling and checking up on the kid. And now we have all these apps where we could track our kids and see where they are and how fast they're driving. So you have it so good, mommy. You have it so good. You have this community here that I'm happy to answer any specific question that you have, and know that this is the best time to start your business as a mom, because you're able to do it from here. And don't be ashamed to be somewhere with your kid and at the same time answer that important call or get on the Zoom call that's important to get into. What else did I want to say? And we should see it as an advantage. The other thing I want to mention here for those moms that are probably like this, I've heard a couple of moms or business moms that have said, oh my God, everything's going so fast, like AI is taking over, and I get it because I'm listening to them. But from my perspective, I'm always trying to be optimistic and positive. So if anything, I hope I give you a little bit of that, because I see it as a plus. So while these moms were out at brunch, they were saying all this, like AI is taking over and it's going to take over our business. And I'm thinking, like, we have it so good. And let me give you examples of what I mean, why we have it so good. As I told them, I will share it with you here. My great-grandmother, I remember speaking to her how it was one day out of her life. And she started off at 3:30 in the morning to heat the water for her coffee. Like, do you sit and think about this stuff? Like, I want you to sit and think about this stuff, because this is huge. We complain about technology, but just for 1 minute, sit and think about this. My great-grandmother would wake up at 3:30 in the morning to heat her water for her coffee. Oh, hell no. I love what I do. I love working, and I'm so grateful that my coffee machine, you just program it and it knows by this time to have your coffee ready. Like, I'm so grateful for that. That's where she would start off. 3:30, she would do this. Let me give you another example. I'm backing up, so ladies, be patient, because I'm going to park while I wait for the time to pick up my son. And then she would go on. We would heat the water for the coffee. We would heat the water to wash clothes, hand wash. I mean, for all you young little girls, hand wash. Our great-grandparents, at least mine, hand washed the clothes. They would heat the water, get it steaming hot to hand wash out, like literally scrub. And they didn't have 1 kid or 2 kids like we have now. They used to have 6 or 8 kids because they would help out in the farm, in the ranch. So she would do that. And then she would sit down and cook for all her kids. And then each kid had a job duty. Not all of them would do it, but one would go and kill the pig or the chicken to make sure they had meat for the week to eat. One would go bring eggs. One would go milk the cow. One would do whatever it is to get the fat, I don't even know, to get the fat out from the milk and pasteurize. And by 10:30, I told my great-grandma, I'm tired, Grandma. Like, I just listening to you, I'm exhausted. Like, how did you do it? And she told me, it had to get done. If we didn't do it, I didn't do it, no one else would do it. It had to get done. So that's another key point right there where I want to start. Well, 2 key points. One, we have it so good. We have washing machines. We have AI that I could talk to. My son's teaching me how to use Siri, where I tell Siri, text so-and-so. Siri, send this email at this time to this company. Siri, give me a list of surveyors in this area, or ChatGPT, give me surveyors or real estate attorneys in this area. And I'm amazed. I cut out so much research. Again, ladies, in perspective. I'm like so grateful for this. I know they're scared, but I'm grateful. ChatGPT Siri has scheduled most of my calls when I'm on the road. Can you remind me to call this person back? Can you remind me if I'm busy at games or so? Can you remind me to send this survey to XYZ? Can you remind me to call? And it reminds me, like, try it. If you haven't tried it, try it. If you tried it and you're complaining, I don't know what to say. Because I know that it could be used for the wrong. I hear you. I hear those moms. But honestly, I feel if the end user, if we're programming ChatGPT, we have to be nice. Like our kids, we're programming a machine. We need to teach it how to be good. We're the programmers because we're asking the questions. It's giving us the feedback. But be good to it. So at the end, when our great-grandkids are here, they're like, oh, this is a good AI. It helps me with this. It helps me with the research. It helps, gives me good information. So I guess that's what I have to say about that. The other thing that I wanted to say is that we have it so good. Like, a lot of you wouldn't take it back, hand washing your clothes, going to milk your cow every morning or every 2 days. I don't know how often they do it. Making your own soaps, making your own detergents. I'm just thinking of everything my great-grandmother used to tell us and how good we have it. Like, if she could be here now, she would say we were lazy. Because back then she would say I was lazy. Like, you're so lazy. You're complaining you have to do washing your dishes. You just put them into a machine and it does it for you. Like, and you're complaining about washing clothes. You just go and put it in a machine and it does it for you. And I remember her complaining, and I'm sitting here telling you, moms, you have it so good, because you have all these tools that could help your job be easier and be a more present mom and be a better mom. And yes, learning to disconnect sometimes is hard. I'm going to be honest, sometimes I just get sucked up into my business that I have to set reminders with Siri, like after 5, disconnect me, like remind me to be present for my kids, which is good because at the same time, I'm aware, like I have to be there for my kids. Like this could wait, this email can wait, this can wait. It's only urgent, what I label urgent. So you have to define what's urgent for you. So if urgency is like a quick sell on something or a quick purchase, or for us it's land investing. So investors calling us about questions about a property or something. I want to make sure that I answer these investors everything they need to know, especially their new investors. The old ones, they know us, they love us, they get it, they know we have kids, they love that about our kids, they've met our kids, a lot of them. With all this set, moms, you have it so good. Use technology for your advantage. Use what you're learning to teach your kids, even if they don't want to be business people. It's all the little lessons that you pick up on how to speak to people, how to be kind, how to be nice, the way you answer the phone, the way you talk to your cohorts, your people, the workers that work for you. All of that plays a role to teach your kids. So don't try to balance it. Try to use it as a tool to teach your kids. There's a lot of lessons that I taught my kids. They learned them so quick because they were so little when we started, that I think they're going to be better business people than we will ever be. And I tell them it's about relationships. Like, don't be scared to talk to people. Don't be scared to ask. And if you don't know, don't be scared to say, I don't know. Don't be scared to be you. And always learn. And again, I'm telling you all this because I think this is the best tool you have to teach your kids. By doing, by being, by learning, by failing. We fail in business. Not all our investments go the way we want them. I don't know what business you're in, but I'm telling you, let them know the wins as well as the losses, which I try to tell my kids they're not losses. Like, maybe we did lose money, but there's a huge learning lesson in there. And talk about it. Talk in front of your partners, in front of your investors. Your kids are always picking up. They don't have to sit there, because I was never sitting there in the kitchen with my mom. I was playing dolls in the room next door, and subconsciously, my subconscious was picking it up. It's huge. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm about to go in to pick up my son. I just want to tell you, good for you that you're doing business. Good for you that you're trying to balance it, because yes, we have to be very present for our children. We want to give them the time, our attention, the quality that they need. But at the same time, don't feel like you're neglecting them when you're taking a call. Use it as a tool. Use it as and what else? And yes, they're going to learn. And even if they decide not to be a business person, they're going to be great human beings. Because business is about being a good, honest person and letting people know everything that they need to know about you and your business. And bottom line, good person, good business, good human being will end up creating that in your kid. So I hope this helped you. I don't know if that's where you were going with all this, but don't balance it. Just be it. Do it as you go. And I wish you all the best with your kid and your business. And to any other moms listening out there, make sure you send us DMs if you want a specific question. I wish you all the best. And ladies, keep doing great. We have a great community. Thank you for your messages, and I hope this helped you. See you, ladies. Bye.